essentially, we've gone from a junior company to a major producer with 2 high-profile growth projects.
Today, Northern Graphite announced a major acquisition that is set to transform this junior company into the 3rd largest non-Chinese graphite producer and the only North American graphite producer. It seems that Northern has been working very hard to get something special for shareholders for the coming holiday season. Greg Bowes is the CEO of Northern Graphite, and he joins me now. Tell me a little bit about this transaction, Greg.
We just announced that we're acquiring 2 graphite mines from Imerys SA. Imerys is a €4 billion company based in Paris. They operate over 100 mines worldwide in about 30 different countries, and we are essentially buying their natural graphite division. This is a truly transformational transaction for Northern. We will immediately have 40 to 50,000 tons a year of production capacity. That will make us the 3rd largest producer outside of China. We will also be the only North American graphite producer. In addition to that, our Bissett Creek project, plus one of the deposits that we are acquiring, have significant measured and indicated resources. We can build very big mines there and significantly expand production to meet growing demand from the electric vehicle and battery markets. So essentially, we've gone from a junior company to a major producer with 2 high-profile growth projects.
So, Greg, this seems to be a bit of a tortoise and a hare story. A lot of companies in the graphite space have been making announcements, and Northern's been fairly quiet, and then suddenly you come out with this news. How did this transaction all come together?
Yes, we've been working diligently in the background for about 8 months to put this together, and it was a long grind. Graphite companies have been issuing a lot of announcements, but not really much is happening. There are probably 20 advanced stage graphite projects throughout the world sitting on the runway waiting for financing. This transaction has enabled us to leapfrog all of them, and I believe we have created the leading public graphite company.
So what else can you tell us about these 2 properties and how they're going to work together with what Northern Graphite currently has?
Yes, we now have 3 graphite projects. We have the Lac des Îles producing mine in Quebec. We have the Okanjandi mine in Namibia, and we have our own Bissett Creek project. All of these projects share some very important features. First of all, they have very high quality graphite that has been independently verified by 3rd parties. They meet all the requirements of the battery and industrial markets. And that is not true of all graphite deposits. They are also located in politically stable countries with high ESG standards. They have very good infrastructure in terms of access to ports and markets. So we believe they provide a significant competitive advantage for us.
I think it'd be a good idea, Greg, if you just explained what the graphite opportunity is.
Graphite prices have been stubbornly low for a number of years, and that is the main thing that has held these projects back, including our Bissett Creek. A lot of that relates to the fact that there has been excess production capacity in China, but with the growth in the battery market, that capacity has pretty well been used up. We've seen prices increase about 10 or 15% in the last month or 2, maybe 30% in the last year. Not quite enough to get investors really excited about graphite, but it's trending in the right direction. And the Chinese industry, which is the biggest producer in the world, a lot of it shuts down in the wintertime. So they build up their inventory and then sell it through the course of the winter. There are now reports coming out that there is no inventory. It's already been used up. So that is creating a situation where we could see some pretty good price increases over the winter months.
There's been news recently about power outages and blackouts in China that have been impacting the mining sector. Has it also been impacting the graphite sector?
Yes, Janet, it absolutely will affect graphite production. and most of their power comes from coal, which highlights the fact that this is just one small part of a much bigger problem. The industry needs a environmentally sustainable, secure supply chain. And when you're dealing with China, that's very difficult. I mean, we can talk about human rights abuses, the Uyghurs, the two Michaels, violating the Hong Kong agreement, bullying Taiwan, the list goes on, the potential for political interference in supply. And then there's the whole distance thing. You look at a very long supply chain that's vulnerable to disruptions. We've had the Suez Canal blockage. We've had COVID disrupting shipping markets around the world. The price of shipping from China to North America has probably gone up 5 or 10 times. We've got container ships stacked up outside of ports waiting to get in. Recently, we had the flood cutting off the port of Vancouver and disrupting getting goods out of that port. So a very long supply chain like that is a big problem. We have a number of battery plants in North America. We have more being built. They need a local, secure, environmentally sustainable source of supply, and this transaction sets us up to provide that.
Graphite's a critical mineral in both the US and in the EU. So this acquisition actually provides a secure graphite supply?
Yes, very much so. China is the largest graphite producer in the world. It produces almost all anode material for batteries. There are big battery plants being built, are in operation and being built in both the US and Europe. And North America, as I said, only has one graphite mine currently, and we own it. We also have one of the leading development projects in our Bissett Creek project. There's only limited production in Europe, and we have a project that is has very good access to the European market.
So tell me, Greg, what do you plan to do for an encore?
Well, it's going to be pretty tough to top this, but we're certainly going to try. We're definitely not going to stand still. We are going to make a number of investments and acquisitions over the next year or two, and we are going to put a lot of focus into developing the capacity to take our graphite concentrate from these mines and upgrade it into anode material for the lithium-ion battery and electric vehicle markets.
That's Northern Graphite CEO Greg Bowes. Today, the company announced a major acquisition that will see them acquire 2 graphite mines, Lac des Îles in Quebec and Okanjandi in Namibia. The transaction is set to transform this junior company into the 3rd largest non-Chinese graphite producer and the only North American graphite producer.